Here are 6 horror houses that I would like to see at Universal Studios this year. Before we get started with today's video, I just want to say a couple of things. For one, I hope you like the new setup. I've been working very hard. That's why I haven't really been making videos recently, is just because I've been busy. Number 2, I also wanted to say I've never been to Halloween Horror Nights before or Universal Studios, but me and Ashton are actually going to Universal Studios later this year. One of my favorite things about Universal Studios is Halloween Horror Nights. Though I've never been, they go balls to the wall on my favorite holiday, Halloween. You guys know me, you know I love scary stuff. I mean, that's what most of this channel's about. I even host a podcast about scary stuff. I also love movies, which is about to be a new series on this channel, me talking about movies. But that's not why you guys clicked on this video. You guys clicked on this video because you wanted to hear my 6 ideas for Halloween Horror Nights scare houses. These are just 6 movies that I would love for Universal to make into Halloween houses at Horror Nights this year. I know that the chances of these happening are very, very slim to none. But who knows? I'm a fan, and I just wanted to voice my ideas and my opinions. So without further ado, let's get into that list. The first movie I would love to see made into a Halloween horror house is Little Shop of Horrors. And I'm not alone on this idea. I've heard a couple of people talk about how they would love to see Little Shop of Horrors turned into a Halloween horror house at Universal Studios one year. I think it would be a perfect opportunity to show off some really cool animatronics and puppeteer work, as well as to see how Universal would turn a musical into a haunted house. I think it would start off with like how Seymour would feed the bodies to Audrey 2, and then it would end with the plant taking over the world while Don't Feed the Plants plays in the background. I think that would be a very, very cool house to go through. What do you guys think? Number 2 is The Twilight Zone, the movie. So specifically for this one, I was thinking it would be really cool to go through 3 of the segments. The first one being the first segment of the movie, where the racist man, I forget the name of the actor, but the racist man goes through the Vietnam War, Nazi Germany, the Holocaust, you know what I mean? I think it'd be great to start off in that scene, go on to It's a Good Life, you know, where we see Anthony bring to life the cartoons, you know, have those guys running around. Then go into The Nightmare at 20,000 Feet with the gremlin outside the window. And then the very last scene that you walk through would be Dan Aykroyd's scene with the, do you want to see something really scary?
Hey, you want to see something really scary?
You bet.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, this is really, really scary now.
I trust you.
Okay, pull the car over.
Pull the car over? Ooh. Scare me.
Are you ready?
Okay, go ahead. What are you doing?
Another movie that might work for this is Creepshow 2. I know that they already did the first Creepshow movie as a horror house, but in my opinion, Creepshow 2 is just as good as Creepshow 1. So maybe we could add in some of the segments from that, or even some segments from the new show that's on, what's it called again? Shudder? So yeah, I would love to see another anthology horror movie be made into something like that. Heck, you could even do Holidays, Tales from the Hood, all sorts of those guys. Those are very underrated in my opinion. I would love to see some more anthology horror movies made. Number 3 is a weird one, but hear me out before you judge me. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I mean, we already got a Ghostbusters haunted house back in 2019, you know? So what if we had a Pee-wee's Big Adventure haunted house where you come face to face with Large Marge, the dinosaurs, the clowns, and the devil, you know, like in his nightmares that he has? I think that would be very creepy. And it would also be really cool to see maybe like a twisted version of Pee-wee's Playhouse, you know, like a lot of the like stuff that's already unintentionally creepy be used for the scare factor. You know, we could even have some of the weird characters from the TV show come in and scare people. Just think about it. The more you think about it, the more it makes sense. Number 4, this is the one year that I think they'd be able to get away with doing this, but Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Today's July 1st, so I think it was yesterday, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory turned 50. A lot of people have talked about how Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory actually scared them as a kid, and not gonna lie, there's a lot of really dark subjects in that movie for a kid's show. But I mean, we could go into the different rooms of the factory, go through the scary tunnel. The scare actors could be Oompa Loompas. You could see each kid go through their demise, you know, but not like a kid per se. It'd be like a adult playing that kid. That way it wouldn't have to be full on politically correct, I guess. You know, that way you don't really feel bad whenever you see this happening to somebody. Similar to like what they did with the musical. But yeah, I think that could be really cool. A dark version of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And like I said, this year's probably the only year that you'd be able to do it, with it being the 50th anniversary. But then again, they are working on that remake with Timothy Chalamet, so maybe sometime in the future we could get a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory horror house. Man, that would be so cool. Like, number 5 is a newer movie. It's actually kind of torn between 2 new movies because they're very similar. I was thinking either the Banana Splits, the movie, or Willy's Wonderland. It would be very cool to see these animatronics come to life. They could easily be scare actors, you know, in mascot suits. But it would be really, really cool to go through the Banana Split set as they're going through their rampage, or to be the night guard at Willy's Wonderland and have all the animatronics try to kill you as a sacrifice. I think that would be really, really cool if Universal could pull that off. I don't know if either of those properties are Universal properties, but I have a feeling if somebody hit up one of these creators and was like, we'd really like to make this as a haunted house this year, they would be more than willing. I mean, just think about it. That would be so scary, but so awesome. I mean, a Five Nights at Freddy's Dark Ride is in the works, though it's not confirmed where it's going to be, but they are building one. So who knows, maybe one day we'll get a Five Nights at Freddy's horror house, but I'm not gonna lie, I think kids ruined Five Nights at Freddy's. Before I say the last house I would like to make, here are a couple honorable mentions. Number 1, The Faculty. There's a couple of things from that movie that I think you could work into one, but yeah. Number 2, As Above, So Below. Think the actual As Above, So Below experience that they had in Paris whenever the movie came out. Number 3, Rocky Horror Picture Show. This one was I don't really have many ideas for this one other than it's a spooky musical, and I don't know, it's one of my favorite movies, so it would just be really cool to see Frankfurter's Castle and once again see how Universal would make a musical into a haunted house. And the last honorable mention is one that is really weird until you think about it some more. You know how we had the Freddy versus Jason house? I would love to have a Beetlejuice versus Ghostbusters. What if it's a segment where you go through a haunted house, but Beetlejuice is slowly taking over the house and the Ghostbusters are trying to trap him? Just like the Freddy vs. Jason haunted house, each ending would be different, with either the Ghostbusters winning or with Beetlejuice winning. Coming in at number 6, or the last house on my list, is Nickelodeon's Are You Afraid of the Dark? Why haven't we had this yet? There's so much content in Are You Afraid of the Dark that would make for a perfect scare house. The Crimson Clown, The Tale of Laughing in the Dark, the Ghastly Grinner. There's so much Are You Afraid of the Dark content that could go into this haunted house. It could be very similar to the Creep Show in where they make it an anthology house, you know? And I mean, Nickelodeon's been remaking the series. I only watched the first series, and I actually really liked it. The one that had Jeremy Ray Taylor, I think that's his name? The boy from It. He was in that. I really liked that miniseries. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't watched the second one yet, but I'm open-minded to it. I don't know where to find it. But then again, I haven't really looked for it. So yeah, what do you guys think? Drop your ideas in the comments, because I'd love to talk about this with people, but I don't really know anybody that's very interested in this sort of subject. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you're going to Halloween Horror Nights this year. Maybe one day we could go and make a big vlog out of it, and that could be really fun. But until that day, be nice to each other.